What's up, guys? We're here, Mevo live show, breaking down some of your questions from Instagram, just leading up to New Balance Nationals Indoor. Going to be a big meet, lots of big things. Some great questions came in. I'm Brian. This is Corey, as you probably know. But yeah, you want to get started?
Yeah, let's get right into it. Yeah.
So, first one came into us from Mount Sinai Track and Field. We have, will Kenneth Way win a national title? Corey, thoughts?
Well, I think they're a little, they have their own opinions about Kenneth Way. He goes their school. We talked to Kenneth Way on MileSplit Live. Kenneth Way is a great long jumper, leads the country right now with a 25-foot jump. I'm going to say that he's not going to win a national title, though. I think in my eyes, I'm going to give it to Eric Haddock of Southeast Raleigh. He's been really consistent, 24-6 jumper. And Kenneth, while he's hit 25, hasn't gotten back to 25. He's more probably closer to low 24s at this point. So I'm going to go with Eric Haddock. I think there's another guy to watch out for, Caden Spencer Thompson of Maine. He's played basketball this indoor season, so he hasn't jumped a lot, I don't think, but I think he's definitely capable of winning here too.
I mean, I have Kenneth taking the win here.
Oh.
I think with this 25-foot jump, it sets him apart. I think one thing that we have to keep in mind, though, nothing's a lock, nothing's a shoo-in. It's New Balance Nationals Indoor. Everybody can pop off a big jump, a big mark. But Kenneth is one guy who's proven that he can pop off a big mark. He did it the Section 11 County Championships, back a little over a month ago. He hasn't quite been able to quite replicate that, but he still had a 24-6 mark at the Section 11 qualifiers, 23.5, which is maybe one of his little lower end marks of the season, but he still won the New York State Championship title. I think Eric Haddock definitely, though, is knocking on his door. He's looking to run. He's looking to be ready to go. He hasn't competed since the North Carolina State Indoor Championships, so I'm sure he's ready to have a big one here. His best is 24.5 this season. So definitely, I think toughest thing to do,
especially in the field, is to hit PRs on every single outing.
It's tough,
especially in the jumps where you can go up and down any given meet. So I think it'll be interesting to see. But I think those two will be battling. Another guy to watch out for is Josh Brockman in the long jump here too.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys right around that 24, 24.5, 24 plus mark that could pop off a big mark, a big jump. Like I said, the atmosphere, the energy, it's pretty wild at the Armory. So,
all right.
Next question, though. What record will Caitlin Toohey break? And that's from Lily Belinsky. I'm sorry if I butchered that name.
Yeah.
What record will Caitlin Toohey break?
I don't know if she's going to break the 2-mile record. 9:38 is really fast for Mary Kane. That's 2 back-to-back 4:49 miles for her to do that. Her fastest is 4:39. She definitely is capable of running a pace, setting a pace, and sticking with the pace.
Yeah.
But as we've seen, I mean, it does get harder the longer these races go. And, Caitlin struggled at NXN to withhold a really fast first mile all the way through that 5K, but that was, different terrain. I think it's going to be really, really close, this 9:38. I'm going to say she does it.
You're going to say she does do it?
I will, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm taking the same thing. I think that she's looking to go after that 2-mile record. She said it after the New York State Championships that if it's in the cards and if she's feeling ready and right. She has the DMR, though, before that. And then she might also be on the SMR, which I think is also before.
She'll get a full night's rest every single day.
She'll be ready to go. I think it's Caitlin, too. I think she's trained for this kind of stuff. She's, an elite-level athlete. She'll be ready to go. But yeah, it will be a stretch to see if she can break it. I think I have her down right now at going at 9:30. I know that's breaking it by 8 seconds. That's quite a large ask. But I think
9:30, wow.
She has blown out of the water almost every record that she's done. I mean, you look at the 5K record last year at VA Showcase. She absolutely just crushed it. So I think if she goes after it wholeheartedly, she has splits in mind of what she wants to hit.
Yeah.
Done. She cleans house with it.
Okay.
So that's my take.
Mary Kane, your record's going down. Caitlin Toohey.
Here to here.
This weekend.
Next one from Nick Monticello. Sorry again.
Mullica.
What was that?
Nick Mullica.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Who will win the 4x4?
He's talking about the boys.
Talking about the boys?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's just stick with the boys. I think it's pretty obvious. We talked about this on MileSplit Live. Bullis is at 3:12 from the VA Showcase. Now, it's been a while since they ran that time in January, but you look at Jay Pendarvis, Andre Touré, Ashton Allen, and I believe Ryan Willie, all on that team, all capable of going around 47 seconds. Ashton can go 45 on the anchor split. So I think they are far and away the best 4x4 team. No one's going to get close to them. The second place team probably is the best question, and I say that's either Pickerington Central or maybe Chris Columbus of New York.
Christopher Columbus, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. I think it's Bullis, and I think that's barring, again, in a championship situation, everything goes the way it needs to go. I mean, obviously, there's things that can happen. The baton doesn't move right all the time. It's championship, but yeah, Bullis should have this pretty sure up for a win.
I think what I will be interested to see is how they use their lineup. I mean, how will they put guys in the positions? I know Andre started the lead for the VA Showcase National Record. Has he gotten better since then?
Yeah.
Maybe they switch him around to the second leg. Maybe they put Ryan Wiley, who's one of the stronger ones outside of Ashton.
You focus on who has the best start. And
right.
Obviously, Andre being a hurdler, he probably has a pretty solid start because he has to do those short hurdles.
Right.
So that's maybe why they would keep him there or move him around. But yeah, you definitely look at how the lineup switches and adjusts and who runs in what position. Just for giggles, though, what about the girls? Do you think Bullis also is a lock here for this one?
No, I don't think Bullis is a lock for the 4x4. I think traditionally you've seen teams like Oak Park that are coached well in the quarter to do well here. I think Western Branch absolutely has a shot to win the 4x4. Yeah, but I don't think it's a lock for the Bullis team.
You think it's a little more up in the air, even though they ran a 342.
No.
And everybody else is pretty far behind them.
I don't know. I still think. I mean, you look at 342 compared to 346 in my eyes. I think you make that up, especially when it's a national season. Yeah.
I see that. Okay, so moving on now to the next question. Will Thea Woods win a national title? And that's from Madison Cho.
What are your thoughts? Well, let's go with you first.
So Woods is entered in the 800. I think that he's a strong athlete, a great competitor. I do not think he wins a national title in that 800, though.
All right, what does he run, though? What does he run? He's gone 153 indoors, PR, 152 outdoors.
I mean, I think you have the potential to hit a PR, definitely for indoors. At 152 is not out of the wheelhouse, especially if they run a good, strong, solid race. If you look at the boys 800, who's in the field? You got, I think Luis Peralta's in there. Alfred Chiwanza, I think, is also in there. It's a loaded stack field. You got some of the top guys in the country. I'm not saying Thea Woods isn't right up there with him. I think he has strong times and a great resume. But there's some guys that are. In my eyes, I think Thea Woods would be more suited for something like the 1,000, the 16, the mile, things like that. That's where I see Thea Woods fitting in. As where I think the 800's more like plays very well to Alfred Chiwanza. Obviously, he has the #1 time in the country right now. Luis Peralta, who had the #1 time at the end of last year, I think, returning for this year. So, you got some guys that are just really, really strong in this particular event.
Yeah.
As where Thea Woods has a little bit more stamina, I think, to pull him through something that's just a little bit longer.
I agree with you. I don't think he's winning the 800. He's had the best year he's ever had indoors this year. His fitness is better than it was from the outdoor season last year. So I think depending on how he races the 800, I think he tends to put himself up with the lead pack and he tries to race with guys that maybe are a little outside him. If he can race smarter, I think he breaks 152 here because we saw him close on Sam Alfolder in the 1K at States. He has the close. If he saves a little and he can close on that final turn, I think he breaks 152 here, and that would be the accomplishment that he would get. That would be All-American in my eyes.
Yeah. Well, I think the other big thing that we have to think about too is this, again, championship race. What are the race tactics going to be in this one? If he's around towards the end, could he outkick one of those guys? I still think no.
No.
I think that it'd make it a little more interesting in the conversation, where the time would be. Obviously, it'd be maybe a little slower.
It's going to be Chiwanza and Peralta.
You think they're going to just...
And Maton, yes. Those three guys are going to be in the final turn going at it.
Yeah.
And no doubt in my mind.
Okay, so now moving on to the next question. Chances that Sydney Thorvaldsen wins the 2 mile. That's from Ethan Barker. Barker? Yeah.
Ethan's actually watching right now.
And Ethan...
Hey!
Ethan's on
what's
right
up,
now
Ethan?
watching.
How you doing?
What's up? So, Sydney Thorvaldsen, what do you think for Ethan here?
I love the question, Ethan. I'm a big fan of Sydney. Sydney fan here, but Sydney's not winning. We just talked about Caitlin Toohey in the 2 mile. You got to consider her going for a national record. But a good question is who's going to finish second. I also don't think Sydney's going to finish second. I think Caitlin Hart is probably
there. That was like building
there.
up to break him down.
Yeah. I mean, I think third, though, is definitely in the picture for Sydney. She can break 10:10.
There's no
in this
American
race.
finish there, I think, for
Yep.
sure. For
Yeah.
sure. I mean, but this field is so strong, as we talked about on the MileSplit Live full show yesterday. You just look at those girls like, Grace Conley sticks out in my mind, a big one. Abby Lovey's could be in the mix. Sophia Reynolds is in there, I believe, as well. These are some of the girls that are just coming to my mind as like national qualifiers.
Names are one thing.
Names are one thing, and times and what they've run.
Have you run this year?
But also, there's what you've run this year, but also you have to think about name recognition is a big deal too. I think.
Of course.
You can have some.
Yeah, you can be in the race, but what have you run?
And maybe you
this
haven't
year?
had your best race this year, though, and this is going to be your best race.
Yeah, but for, say, Grace Conley, for example, she's U.S. #2. She's run 10:18 at a full effort at her Bay State Conference race. She's going to improve, but by how much? You're not going to drop 18 seconds off that time, right?
No, I'm not saying they're going to win. This isn't going for the win. I'm saying this is a good mix for the All-American position. Caitlin Tuohy's going to be, I'm not.
Right.
I was not disputing Caitlin Tuohy being the winner. There's no way that.
You're talking about like a group of girls that are potential for third,
the
fourth,
core
or fifth.
solid third, fourth, fifth girls that are battling for those All-American places.
For sure, and Grace definitely. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Grace, Taylor
They're all in the
Ewert,
mix.
Sydney Thorfolson, but I do think it's pretty clear.
Brooke Ruber is another one that we forgot to mention there.
For sure, just ran a 9:45 3K.
Yeah.
She's definitely a very good talent, but you're going to have to race well and kind of race smart to make sure you have that close in you, last 400, maybe even 600, 800, because some of these girls might make their moves. Like Grace Conley, she's got a great, finishing kick. She's definitely a good runner toward the end stages of these distance races, so you got to save a little bit more for you to finish.
Okay, so moving on now to the next question. Picks for the girls' championship mile, and I don't have who sent that question in, but what are your thoughts on the picks for the girls' championship mile?
I'm going back and forth on this because...
Really?
Well, I'm going back and forth in Victoria Starcher and Marley. I think those are the two girls. We talked about it yesterday on MileSplit Live, and I picked Marley, I think, but part of me thinks Victoria might be there as well. No?
I think after what Dan mentioned with Miley Starlipper kind of coming up short with the title the past few years, like this is the one she wants to go after, and if she doesn't throw it all down right there, I think it's a miss. I think this is like her chance to seize the opportunity to take the win and get a title.
Yeah, I do think she's the favorite, but there's something about like what Victoria Starch has. She's not even an underdog. Marley's gone 4:41. Victoria's gone 4:45 in a pro field at Camel City Elite.
Yeah.
Marley's run against collegians, and I believe at one point she ran against pros at USA's too.
Yeah.
So she's done the same thing. I think they're similar. So it depends on how Marley tries to attack Victoria, how Victoria attacks Marley.
It comes down again to race tactics.
Exactly.
Who takes what out when. Yeah, and I think, again, if you stick around to the end, I think for sure Victoria Starcher has a solid, strong kick. We talked about the 800-meter speed yesterday, is where Victoria Starcher I think's gone, I want to say 208, correct me if I'm wrong, and Starliper was
206 actually,
206. 206, so, and Starliper was what, 213, 215? Somewhere in that range, so, a little bit off.
You picking Marley.
I still have Marley, yes. I still think Marley's gonna hungry. That's her title to.
I'm going to apologize here, but I'm going to pick Victoria.
Change it up?
Yeah, I'm changing it up. I'm going with Victoria.
So now, next question. What event are you most excited to watch?
I got a bunch. You want me to go first? Do you want to go?
You go ahead and take this one first. Again.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, okay, I'll go first. The relays, I think, are always solid. You always have some great relays. Like I said, you never know what can happen with some baton exchanges, the handoffs. Things get crazy, and sometimes, man, I just remember last year at one point, the volume in the armory just got so loud, and we were watching the relays, and just people get going wild for things. I think the relays will be great, all of them. There's no one in particular that I'm really super excited for. I think Thing Mo's race in the 800, I want to see what her plan is, her strategy, how she's going to get out, what she's going to do. If she's going to chase that national record, I think that's huge to watch. Obviously, Caitlin Tuohy in that 2 mile again. Boys and girls mile as a distance athlete, those are some of my races. And everything. At 60, as I'm going through this, it's like every race it's the best. Like, yeah.
I'm going to go with the mixed 4x4. I haven't seen a mixed race at the national level happen yet, so I really want to see how that plays out. I don't know if all teams are buying into that yet.
Yeah.
There are a couple in Virginia that are doing it. I think Bullis is entered. I think Western Branch is entered. But I want to see that go down and see how they kind of play off the certain legs. The boys 400, Ashton Allen, Justin Robinson, Who's
Oh,
winning
that's
this
a good race, too.
matchup?
I forgot about that
Who's
one.
winning this
Yeah,
matchup?
yeah.
I'm super excited for that. Girls 800, super excited for. I want to see a thing, as you said.
Yep.
Boys mile. One thing we didn't realize until today in the boys mile.
Yeah.
A guy in Ontario, Foster Malik. He's the #1 rated athlete, U20s right now in the world with a 4:07 mile. He's racing up against.
It throws a wrench right into the whole race.
He's the favorite now.
He's now the favorite. He
He's
becomes
the favorite.
But you also got to think, like, how much is racetrack is going to play? Like, how much is that difference going to, is the difference going to matter that much with the guys in this race, in this field? Because any one of those guys, I think, could attack and go after something fast. So
absolutely, but it does throw a wrench in the system.
It throws in the wrench, and it makes it's one more name in the hat to pay attention to, I think, is another thing to keep in mind.
The last race I'm curious about is the girls 60. I think there's a possibility that Brianna could set a national record in the 60-meter dash. She's definitely capable enough, and I think it's like 7:17 national record. U20 record 7:07. I mean, if we get something like that, it would be amazing to see. So those are the races.
Okay, so now moving on to, will all 3 Loudoun Valley teams get All-American in the 4x-mile? And that's from a Loudoun Valley athlete himself, Matteo Barreto. Corey, what are your thoughts here?
I will say no. I mean, it's unprecedented what's happening here at New Balance. Unprecedented for sure. 3 teams in the national championship of 4x-mile. But we looked at the rosters. I mean, you go into it. I think it's not going to happen.
So the teams that we think could get All-American here, I think 2 of the Loudoun Valley squads should make All-American. I think if you're looking at them, the 2 top teams should. Their 3rd team's going to have to fight for it, though. I think they're really going to have to battle. Because you have Bishop Hendricken in here, you have Brothers Track Club, you have Burnt Hills, Cary Track Club's in there with a potential. Haddonfield, all these teams kind of mixing it up.
Bowls of Jacksonville.
You got a lot of these teams A squads that, Loudoun Valley is definitely hands down one of the deepest distance squads in the country.
And their A team will likely win the 4x-mile again.
Yeah, and I think their B team could potentially take 2nd as well, to be honest. But
I think that's a tall order.
You think it's a tall order? I think they have the potential to be in the conversation, though. Like, you can't come out. Burnt Hills has a strong
for an All-American place, but it's tough.
Burnt Hills has a strong squad, and so does Bishop Hendricken and Brothers. You can't count on Bishop Hendricken ran so great at NXN. I think they're primed and ready to continue to prove themselves and show, like, hey, we're here after their 4th place at NXN. And they have some strong names behind them. But yeah, it's just gonna be a battle for all 3 teams to get All-American in the 4x-mile.
Yep.
Which Davis will win the girls 200 meter?
Kayla Davis.
See, I'm saying Tamari Davis. So why do you say Kayla?
I think Kayla's going to
win. Why do you say Kayla, Corey? I mean, why? What's your reasoning?
I mean, she's run extremely well. She's US 4 in the 200. I think she's learned a lot from her past experiences. I think she's going to win the 200.
I was just going to say, do you think she's picked up on some of the experiences? Because, we kind of saw her at the beginning of the season. She, we kind of considered her a freshman. She had a lot of learning and growing. Do you think she's kind of grown throughout the season, and what do you see her using from the different experiences she's been in?
One thing she can pick up on from this year, watching a girl like a thing, is competitiveness. It's one thing to get out of the blocks and race your own race fast, but it's another thing to be competitive and to react to moves being made on you and to race up to the person next to you. I think a thing time and again has proven that she is competitive and she will not lose, even if she's trailing. Kayla, I think, after this season, probably learned a valuable point in that too, where you can determine your own fate, but you just have to be competitive in every single race.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I'm picking her.
I think I'm going to stick with Tamari. So
fair. She won last year.
I'm going with the defending champion. I think what she was able to do, and I think you're looking to repeat that title, and I think she's going to come out hungry and battle, and I think that's the only race she's in, correct? So
she's in the 400 as well.
She's in the 400.
Oh, Tamari's in the 200. I'm sorry.
Tamari's only in the 200.
Yes.
So I think she'll be able to focus on it and go through those rounds solidly.
Yeah.
I think with Kayla, she has to do the 400 and kind of intermix the rounds. So we'll see. I think Tamari's going to have a little more in the tank to explode and excel. But again, it's national championships. We'll see.
Yeah.
So, Travis, is there any other questions that came in as we've been talking? Because that's the list. If you guys have anything, share it now.
Hold up.
This one?
Aiden Puffer reached out and said
some comments,
he's injured. So, Aiden, we got
He's supposed to run the 5K, but we'll give you a shout out here. We got Marcellus Moore. He chimed in. It'll be a show.
I think it will be. Yes, it will.
Yep.
Thank you, Marcellus.
A thing Mo said it's the fastest party on the planet.
Yes, agreed.
Definitely,
She is the fastest
for sure.
party on the planet.
But I mean, that's all we have. So unless there was more questions that came in.
Just the last one, not necessarily a specific question, but coming in on YouTube, do you guys have anybody, we've talked about a lot of the favorites, any kind of sleeper picks maybe under the radar that you're looking at, any event, but somebody you think might pull off an upset this weekend?
So in case you didn't hear it, sleeper picks, Travis was saying the question was about sleeper picks, anybody that might pull off an upset, anybody you think that could come in and kind of surprise the field.
I like Brian Santos in the 60s. 60s, so
Yeah.
you know, I mean, it's tough. I think anybody can win, but I think Brian Santos has run really well. At one point,
He's been almost undefeated all year.
Yeah, he's been US 1 in the 55. I like him in the 60.
I think Nick Cross is also kind of an underdog.
He's not actually entered.
He's not going to be entered?
No, he's out.
Oh,
yeah.
he got it. Okay, dropped out. So I said his name's there, but not entered, yeah.
And, I mean, Dan Matan maybe a little bit. We've talked about him a lot.
You see him as an underdog, though? I don't really see him as an underdog. In
To
my
win,
mind,
though?
I guess.
To win?
Oh, you see him as an underdog to win? So,
Possibly
yeah.
the 800. I don't know. I don't know. I like Corey Carter in the hurdles, 60-meter hurdles. I think she's solid, even though I don't think she's going to win. Clemson recruit, Corey Carter.
Yeah. What about who's the Bullis hurdler? Girls. Is it Leah Phillips?
Leah Phillips, yeah.
Yeah, I think she has potential to mix it up in there and have a good race. Because their hurdle squad is always strong. Miles Marshall, I just saw him in Georgia. I think he's a really strong athlete. It's going to be hard to take down Kurt Powder, but I think Miles Marshall was looking super explosive, really ready to run a great time.
Patrick Pipp in the shot put, not the number one guy. Aiden Felty of Massachusetts is currently the favorite in that event, but I think Pipp's only thrown twice this year, too.
Yeah, Carl Lewis and Texas A&M.
But I think Pipp's definitely capable of going over 65, so I'm going to go.
I think so. I was looking at his profile the other day. I want to say he's been throwing outdoors and he's hitting some higher, further marks outdoors already. But yeah, Aiden Filty's been progressing each week. So it'll be interesting, though, to see those two kind of battle it out and who responds well and how, who takes in that environment and really thrives well and goes after it.
My last one's Caden Spencer Thompson. He's in the triple jump and the long jump. He's going to Louisville next year, but I really think this guy is under talked about. We don't give him enough love, but I think he's capable of winning a title. So I'm going that too.
Cool. If we got no other questions, that's the show. We will be, both of us, Corey and I, will be at New Balance Nationals Indoor this weekend. If you see us at all, pull us aside, say hello, tell us what's up. We'd love to hear from you. Love to just talk track. So yeah, see you out there.
Thanks for watching.